So, we are going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are on episode 66, and well, in the last episode, we saw a massive Balkan War break out down here, and I think it's like the third or second Balkan War. And that resulted in a new country being Bulgaria getting made. And well, now this purple team is no longer a expansionist country. It is a democratic one like the red team. But Russia also invaded down there and created a kind of buffer state, or just a kind of just buffer, like a puppet state. And this pissed the red team off. And well, in this episode, we're going to be seeing kind of a small response from the red team. And well, let's go ahead and get into this episode. We are going to be starting off in Adarian, and it's been a little bit since they have expanded, so they're going to be expanding their influence. Poor little blue country. Adarian is going to focus in on more of this deserty area for some reason. It's kind of weird with their warfare because they actually have troops specially trained to fight in the Sahara, and well, it's actually doing very good as they are absolutely destroying the blue team, who have barely any army. We then see regular troops that are not specially trained to fight in the desert moving into these areas, and well, like I said, the capital is going to get taken. The blue team, one of the weakest countries in the world. They tried to be friendly with pretty much every single one of their surrounding countries, even Adarian they did, but now that's coming to bite them in the booty. And if you remember, this used to be two countries. There was a southern one, but that southern one actually united with the blue one. So all of this special government stuff is going to go down into this other capital down here. And like I said, pretty much no troops on this front line. Adarian is pretty much just moving into free real estate. And well, they're just taking provinces, and they get about down to here, and this is really all they wanted. They wanted this northern area, so they go ahead and send a peace treaty just over to the new capital, and let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty. And in a peace treaty, we just see Adarian taking over the provinces they invaded into. And Adarian is just getting pretty massive. They go pretty dang far down into this central, western-ish Africa, as well as going all the way up to Tunisia and Iberia. And well, they also did, in the last episode, join the Checkmark Alliance. And well, after they invaded this country, it's going to show the rest of Africa pretty much, join this alliance, or else pretty much you're going to get invaded. Russia is eternally grateful for Adarian. As well, countries like this country right here are immediately going to fold over to Adarian. This country's government gets changed, and it's now kind of just an Adarian puppet state. There's actually a few more countries that are going to fold. This purple one folds. And even this pink country, they all fold over to the Checkmark Alliance. And well, all of these governments are changed to a expansionist government, so just know that. And well, it turns out Adarian did actually also change the government of the blue team. But they are just more of a puppet state, like a really big puppet state. But Adarian, they're not admitting it. But now, going away from Africa for now, we need to go over to the Middle East. Yemen had just gotten their independence a little bit ago when Cyprus invaded the Lime team, and well, they kind of just took over everything. These guys want their empire back. They still have the same government that they did before, but it's still just a little dialed down. Yemen wants to restore the great Yemen Empire, and well, they'll do about anything to get that. Like invading the pink team. Yemen is actually stronger than the pink team. And well, Yemen still has a pretty good general, surprisingly. And well, they're going to cut across, taking all of their sea access. But then Oman looks over, and they are like, no. Oman, they suffered from Yemen. A lot of their people were killed, and Yemen was a fascist nation for a little bit. And Yemen did kind of exterminate a lot of Oman's people. Oman is like, yeah, no, we're not doing this, and start pushing back Yemen. And well, Oman is stronger than Yemen. They get pushed all the way back to their border. And then they start entering into Yemen at lightning speed. As well, their capital gets taken. And a new government will be set up in kind of Oman style. Let's look at a peace treaty. First, Oman is going to be taking these provinces from the pink team, saying, well, they're the only reason you're alive, and they're right. The pink team then gains all of the rest of this land back. And while Oman puppets the rest of Yemen, they do not trust them. Oman wants to make sure Yemen can never reform their empire. They are terrified if this thing gets this thing because they have a direct border, and well, Oman is not going to let that happen. Only a few years after Yemen got their independence, after being put underneath a puppet, they're now a puppet again, but underneath Oman. And Oman is a lot more ruthless to the Yemen people. It's kind of like slavery, but Yemen. Anyways, let's go away from the Middle East and, well, go over to China. China is inside of a alliance, and, well, it's pretty much the most popular alliance inside of Asia. Maybe the Parallelogram Alliance can show up to that. But if these two were to go to war right now, I would probably say this alliance would win. And that is because they have Taiwan, they have China. China's the 5th strongest country in the world. Taiwan is in like 15 or 17. And, well, all of these Asian countries here are also very strong. Burma is also pretty dang strong. India, if I remember, is the 3rd. But this country right here is okay. But Bangladesh is actually pretty dang weak. And, well, Vietnam, this is a form of Vietnam. They probably won't do much besides serve as a distraction. But what I'm saying is there may be a country inside of Asia that is not aligned with the Checkmark Alliance, the Heart Alliance, the Lightning Alliance, or any other alliance in this 5-person Cold War, which is kind of big. China, they want some more territory, so they go ahead and land troops inside of that island. They then cross over and make landfall inside of this first island here, and they take it within a few days. They then start moving up this whole Japanese peninsula, the Japanese Isles, taking another island. Then Korea is going to jump on this and start invading into Japan as well. And, well, they're getting pretty dang far, and this worries Japan. So they take the rest of this part here, then start crossing over into this area here. But they don't get too far because then Big Daddy Russia is looking down on this. And Noilipin II is going to be smart about this. They are going to send troops down, and they're going to sweep this northern island here. But while China is distracted, they're also going to go ahead and sweep these two countries right here. So they have a direct border with China. And then they move down and capture the Japanese capital before stopping about here because they don't really have much intentions inside of Japan. We then see a rebellion, and this is a central Japanese rebellion. The rest of this then gets split between China and Korea. Now let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty between Japan. And in a peace treaty, we see Japan getting split like this. Korea is going to annex all of these lands into the the Korean Empire. China is going to get all of these lands. The Chinese also get this island. And, well, the central Japanese country is going to get this land from Russia, while the Russians get the rest. And surprise, surprise, Russia turns this into a puppet state. And, well, now they have influence inside of Japan. But the question is this Japanese country want to be a part of the Checkmark Alliance or the Hexagon Alliance? Well, first, they're going to move their capital here. That's kind of the furthest point away from both China, Russia, and Korea. The Japanese are going to have to choose an alliance. And they actually choose the Lightning Alliance. And this infuriates the Checkmark Alliance, Hexagon Alliance, and the Parallelogram Alliance. Why are they coming over here? Why are the dirty Americans coming over to Asia? And now the North American Union is stockpiling supplies inside of Japan. But now, turning off the alliance layer, we need to go to the nuclear bomb layer because these numbers have been updated a crap ton. The last time I recorded this, it was around 1885. Not 1885, 1985, sorry. Around there. And, well, now we are around 1990. That is 5 years. And let's just say these nuclear bomb numbers have jumped a lot. The North American Union, I don't remember what they were at. I think they were around 18 nuclear bombs. They are now at 45 nuclear warheads. This is a massive jump. And, well, this is only because a man inside of this North American Union originated inside of Cyprus. They fled the country during when this whole expansionism started. They fled here, and they helped the North American Union make tons of warheads because they love science. And, well, now let's go over to the Scandinavian Union. They now have 13 warheads, which is nowhere close to the North American Union, but they weren't as reliant on nukes. They were more just, hey, we should probably make some just like, if they nuke us, we have stuff to nuke them back. Russia, though, Russia has 50. That is 5 more than the North American Union. And, well, the people of Russia aren't really happy with this because they saw what the nuke did, and it's still in threat over here. But this whole area has now probably been it's okay now. But Russia and the North American Union are fiends for nukes. They absolutely love the idea of them, even though this happened. China is going to go up to about 15, and, well, India is going to go up to about 30 as well, not as well. And while none of these guys actually are putting nukes in other territories, instead what they're doing is helping their allies make their own nukes because they don't want to there really is no reason they're not doing this. Like the Persian Union, they make 5, and this is over a long time. Ever since Russia started making their own nukes, they've also been helping the Persian Union, which is their probably best ally. Russia helped out Adarian that last little bit, and they have as well 5 nuclear warheads. This is a little bit different than what Adarian did in his series. Instead of giving nukes, they're sharing resources, which is, I guess, a little bit more helpful. I don't know. The Dutch have none, but the Red Italians, they also have none. Korea is able to make 1 nuclear warhead. And, well, this is just to kind of, like, scare China. Like, hey, I have 1, even though you have 15. Indonesia manages to make 2, and that's kind of weird because they're not aligned to anyone, so how the heck did they make them? And, well, the nukes are going to be taken off because now we need to go look at another war. Over here, I guess we're looking at the retaliation of the Red Italians for the Russian invasion here. We see Italian troops enter into Slovenia, and the goal of this is kind of to threaten Russia and show how strong the Italians are by blitzing across the country and connecting up with the Russian border. The Russians were like, we're not scared of you, as they entered in their own troops into Slovenia. And, well, this kind of is backfiring against the Red Italians. But they managed to make a naval landing and sweep the capital, so that way Russia can't get Adriatic coast. But the Russians and the Red Italians are pretty much going to split Slovenia. And, well, Slovenia, they had an empire. This was pretty much the Slovenian Empire. They had been destroyed throughout history by, like, Poland quite a bit and, like, the northern Italians. But now they're just being split once again by the Italians once again. In a peace treaty, the Red Italians are going to take all of this. But the Russians actually annex this into actual Russian territory. This is a weird move seen by the world. And, well, now these two share a border, the Red Italians and the Russians. And now we're going to skip ahead about 2 years. So now we're in 1992. The nuclear advancement has stopped. And, well, Neulipen, he is tired of this Cold War. He is tired of waiting for this war to start. So you know what he's going to do? He is going to invade roughly what he thinks is weakest neighbor. And I forgot to color in these guys. Whoopsie. But the Russians do fully annex these guys. So now they actually share a border with China. And that makes China very mad, as well as their allies. But the Russians are going to go ahead and put troops on, well, Neulipen makes the call to put troops on the Scandinavian border, even more than there already was. And, well, in the next episode of Wixo, which will be happening tomorrow. Yes, there will be upload on Friday. World War IV officially starts. And well, you may think this is only going to be a war between the Russians, because Neulipen has been planning a great revenge against the Scandinavian Union, because if you remember, the Scandinavians invaded into the Russians a little bit ago to surround the whole Baltic Sea, and well, Neulipen I actually just surrendered, and Neulipen II, he hated that his father did that. Neulipen wants to retake the Baltic, and well, he does, cutting off this Prussian area from Lithuania as he starts swarming Lithuania, but the Scandinavian troops are there. But he is going to be able to cut off this area here. When Russia has a very good winter navy and not navy, but cold army, the Scandinavians have an even better one. They have the best army to fight in the cold in the world. The Russians are unable to push into Finland. They will, however, be able to push up to here. And, well, they're actually going to be able to push up into this St. Petersburg area, taking all of this here, and, well, even taking this major city. But that is going to be resulting in a major oof for the Russians. Let's just say this is also kind of the age of spies. And, well, there's spies pretty much everywhere in the world, from India, China, Russia, Scandinavian Union, North American Union. Just so happens to be Indian spies, Chinese spies, North American Union spies. We're all inside of that city right there. And in the whole chaos of the moment, because everyone's like, what the heck just happened? Chinese, well, down over here inside of this border. Burma thinks war has started, so they begin entering their troops into Bangladesh. And, well, that is... yeah, that was not a good idea. They also go ahead and enter their troops into this Vietnamese area. And, well, yeah, let's just say India declares war on China shortly after, as well as the whole Chinese alliance. China then declares war on Russia because of the murdering of the spies. India, the North American Union, also do the same. But then it is figured out that India had actually a lot of troops inside of the North American Union. That is the only reason why they have 30 nuclear warheads. And, well, it is figured out that inside of a city inside of the North American Union, inside of this city right here, where they're used to develop quite a few nuclear warheads, around 100 Indian spies are inside of it. They're all assassinated, and, well, shortly after, war between India and the North American Union happens. North American Union also declares war on the Scandinavian Union because it's very confusing. The North American Union says the Scandinavian Union should have protected that city better, so then they declare war on the Scandinavian Union. And, well, the Scandinavian Union's like, what the F? Like, they're freaking Russia. They have one of the greatest military in the world. But, North America does not care. And, well, we enter ourselves into the Fourth World War. And, well, it is between the Hexagon Alliance, the Checkmark Alliance, the Parallelogram Alliance, the Heart Alliance, and the Lightning Alliance. And, well, this war is going to last about 2 to 3 episodes. I'm going to be splitting this war into, well, part 1 of this war is going to be Friday. Part 2 of this war is going to be Saturday. And I may do the peace treaty on Sunday, but I'm probably just going to morph that into Saturday's video. The only reason I'm doing this is because I do not want an hour-long Wixo video. So each video is probably going to be around 30 minutes. But be prepared for the most chaotic event inside of Wixo history. I will see you guys in the next episode. World War IV has started. Goodbye.